By far, my most anticipated Netflix release this year has been this new film called The Outlaw King. Well, it came out last night and now I get a chance to talk about it. So in this video, I'm going to give you my complete review, and we're starting right now. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan, and this is where I review movies and shows from a variety of different platforms to help you manage your expectations so you're not left disappointed. And if you want more reviews just like this one, make sure you hit that bell notification and the subscribe button so you're kept updated next time I get ready to upload a new video. So The Outlaw King follows Robert the Bruce in his open rebellion against England in 1306. Now, while this movie isn't in continuity with Mel Gibson's Braveheart, the story does pick up right after that movie ends. So William Wallace has had his rebellion squashed, and now it's Robert's turn to take up arms against the King of England. Now, I have to be honest with you, Braveheart is one of my all-time favorite movies, so I had some concerns that this story may rehash some of the same themes and character dynamics that one did. And while there is some of that, there wasn't near as much as I originally thought, and I think a lot of that is due to the new portrayal of many of these characters. For example, Prince Edward, the King of England's son, is far less helpless in this story. He's actually considered a little bit of a threat. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still not near as much of a threat as his father, but a threat nonetheless. I also like the relationship dynamic between Robert and Margaret. It was very different than what I was expecting. Now, this is one of those areas where I was a little bit concerned because anytime I saw her in peril, I automatically felt like I knew where this story was going, but the director does a great job of keeping her fate a complete mystery from start to finish. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some definite similarities between these two movies, but for the most part, Outlaw King does a great job of standing on its own. Now, I do feel obligated to tell you this movie takes a minute to get going. I think we were about halfway through before I ever saw any kind of meaningful action sequence. But at the same time, I can't really say that it was slow. The dialogue and the acting really kept me engaged all the way through, and most of that is due to Chris Pine and Rebecca Robin's performance. Now, there are plenty of people that are going to review the show and they're going to talk about how great Chris Pine's performance is, and it is. It's absolutely amazing, but he's good in just about anything he does. So I want to take a little bit of time and talk about Rebecca Robin, because I felt like she was really the heart of this story. Throughout this movie, you get to see her passion, her intelligence, the strength she has, and the commitment she gives to Robert and his family. And to be honest with you, there are times where I actually thought her story was even more interesting than Robert's himself. Now, there are some other minor positives I want to mention, most of which happen in the opening sequence. For example, I really enjoyed some of the camera work. I liked that they had one of these really long tracking shots where they just followed one character for 6+ minutes without ever cutting. The problem is I just saw that technique used pretty heavily in A Haunting of Hill House, and this probably would have been much more impressive to me had it come out a month earlier. I also thought there was some interesting foreshadowing along the way in that sequence, and that's something I normally don't pick up on. But having said all that, there's also one negative that really just jumps out at me, and that's that I just didn't have the same emotional connection to some of Robert's men that I felt like I was supposed to. And I'm not really sure why that is. I don't know if it's because their performances just weren't as strong in comparison to Chris Pine and Rebecca Robin. I don't know if it's because we didn't spend enough time with them. All I know is that there were some points in this story where Robert would lose men, and I felt like we were supposed to have some kind of emotional response for it. But honestly, half the time I just really didn't care. Okay, so up until this point, I have not been all that impressed with Netflix original movies. Now, there's been one or two that I've enjoyed along the way, but for the most part, they're just complete garbage. Now, this movie does seem to be a little bit of an exception to that rule, but I still don't think it's going to be winning any awards anytime soon. So keeping all that in mind, I wouldn't rush out and see it right away, but I would eventually give Outlaw King a watch. So what do you think about Outlaw King? Jump in the comment section below and let me know. And as always, if you've made it to this point in the video, that means you must have liked it, so why not go ahead and give it a thumbs up? You can check out some of my other videos off to the side here. And as always, if you want help managing your expectations in future Netflix releases, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you're kept up to date next time I get ready to upload a new video.